to Recollections May Vary, a royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield here with Kevin O'Sullivan. You watch us together on the Political Asylum with Kevin O'Sullivan. And things have been pretty crazy lately. Speaking of asylum, if we're talking Harry and Meghan, what have you been thinking over the last week, this roller coaster of from twerking to Minnie Mouse, from twerking to Tinkerbell?
You're right. When you come onto my show, so my show's called The Political Asylum, and you come on at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I should say, that's the end of The Political Asylum. Welcome to the mental asylum. Let's now talk about Meghan. We discussed this last night. I mean, the blizzard of activity
overwhelming
over the past couple of weeks is now becoming kind of almost confusing. She is assaulting the world, assailing us with
no lubricant,
video
no
after,
lubricant.
Yeah, video after post after message after interview after podcast after TV show. What the hell is she actually up to? I don't think she has a damn clue, and certainly observers can't work it out. It is just this frenetic, incoherent, uncoordinated activity. I think she believes leading towards something she knows not what. It's really bizarre.
That's true, because I feel like with other entrepreneurs, female founders, if we're going to quote Meghan Markle's, quirky terms, look at Hailey Bieber. Hailey Bieber, you see in everything she's doing that she's promoting her Rhode beauty line, which she just sold for, I think, $1 billion. Even with the chaos surrounding Justin Bieber, she stays focused in her makeup brand. With Meghan Markle, it's all over the place, from loose fruit spread, scam jam, to now we're hearing a hotel.
Hotels? What's that about?
We'll get into that. I sent you the Jezebel article that I thought was really interesting, where they say that they were trying to unpack Meghan Markle's social media activity. They said it felt very 2016. What were some highlights from that article for you about Meghan's social media activity?
Well, what I liked about the Jezebel article is it highlighted something that I suppose had kind of occurred to me, but I hadn't formulated the thought properly. You look at, I looked at that program with Love Meghan, and I thought, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Who is this for? And what era is it for?
Yeah.
Because it's not for the modern day. It's like something out of, it's like the Flintstones. It's a place right out of history. It's like, wow, this is just ancient. This is anachronistic nonsense. So what I think's happened with Meghan, I mean, I always say this, she's definitely, out of Harry and Meghan, the smarter of the two, but that is setting the bar low. So so compared to Harry, people go, oh, she's really smart. No, she's really smart compared to Harry. Is she really smart? Is she? Hell, she's not smart. She is so dumb. And what's happened to her is she thought, right, how can I be really, really rich? I'm never going to cut it as an actress. So, I know, I'll marry a royal. They're all billionaires, aren't they? So she marries Harry and realizes that at best he's a sort of low grade, sort of 3 or 4 millionaire, nothing much.
And it takes people it takes for people to die for Prince Harry to get a payday.
Sure. And the royals' wealth pretty much is not really touchable. They just live in real luxury and style. They don't necessarily have that much money. Even the king, King Charles, the wealthiest royal of all time, twice as wealthy as his mother, is worth about £635 million.
He wore a recycled suit to their wedding. Was that not the red flag she was looking for? The king's suit's older than I am.
Yeah, but £635 million. Now, when you remember that Elon Musk, for example, I think is worth $420 billion.
But is he really? He has 420
but you know what I mean.
billion babies.
But just what I'm saying is, you're right, Jeff Bezos. These are rich people. The royal family are not rich. So she marries this guy, Harry, thinking he's a billionaire, and it's, oh my God, he's only got $4 million.
I know, I really don't think it's as deep as that, though. I think she wants to be famous.
Well, yeah. So there's that as well. But anyway, the point is she marries Harry, goes through that phase in Britain, which was all a disaster, then megs it over to Canada, down to California, buys the Montecito mansion. So since 2017, 18, when she hooked up with Harry, got married to him, went to America. So what is it now? 8 years or so. She's been like trapped in a weird time machine.
Mm-hmm.
So the world has been happening while she's been cosseted in this weird life that is cut off from the rest of humanity. So that would explain why everything she does, her posts, her TV shows, her podcasts, are like something out of about 8 years ago.
Yeah, we've moved on.
Yeah, she's been preserved in time. She's doing this really old-fashioned claptrap. And she hasn't noticed that time has moved on. So that might explain why nothing she does works, because it's so old-fashioned. I mean, it's so old lady-ish what she's doing.
Well, that's what, remember, like the line at the very end is that Meghan, her granny style, it was a very funny line about how she's not trying to sell $800 sweaters. She's trying to sell granny something. It was
So
a bad
what was
word.
it? She's trying to sell honey and jam for less than $20. Well, they're only just less than $20. And one of the problems with as ever is, it's no good saying, hey, this jam's $14. At least it's not an $800 sweater.
Yeah.
But if people go, yeah, but it's still jam, well, scam jam. It's still jam, $14. I don't think so.
Yeah.
All of those items are wildly overpriced. And
We don't know what's inside them. We don't know where they're made. I mean, if you are
yes,
like...
that is a really good point. Where do they come from? Where does that jam? Well, we tried it.
I want it on record. I didn't, because I have some expectations. I'd like to live to see another day.
It's like I've told you 100 times, Kinsey. It's not bad. It's all right. It's very thin and gruely. It shakes around in the jar, which jam shouldn't. And it's quite sharp because it hasn't got enough sugar in it. I suppose some people might like that. As I say, it's not unpleasant. It's just completely unmemorable. And in no way is it worth $14. So the fact that she's selling produce that's less than $20, yeah, but it should be less than $3. So there's a real problem there. And what kind of young woman? I mean, what kind of young woman goes, I'm going to go into business and I'm going to sell jam? I mean, for God's sake, what is she, 40 or 90?
It does give you, back to your point about her being locked in her own little world. You just imagine that that's what she's been doing to get through whatever this is, and she's just sitting in her kitchen making jam. And I mean, it must be her way to process and to work through stuff, but I don't think that it's something that she's trying to appeal to the masses in a lot of the things that she's doing, but I don't think that it's going to work. I mean, I guess that's the simplest way of saying it. I am a royalist. I love the royal family. I'm not going to buy her jam because of the way she's treated the royal family, but also as a woman that is a similar age to her, I have no interest in her or her jelly.
Yeah, no, and of course, talking about how she's been trapped in this time bubble, I think also to psychoanalyze her a bit, she is trapped in her own bubble. So she lives on planet Markle, planet Meghan. And whatever happens outside of that, she resists. So she is convinced that everything she does and thinks is utterly right. Mm-hmm. And anybody who suggests, well, maybe we could do that other way, maybe racist, bully, get out, you're fired, and so on and so forth. She has armor-plated herself against the device and will not take it.
And she's always been defensive. Like, it would be one thing if she developed this thin skin after experiencing something traumatic within the royal fold, but they came out swinging, Harry and Meghan. She threatened to leave him if he didn't release a statement defending her in the public and accusing people of racism. I remember it interrupted one of King Charles's visits, engagements. He was in another country, and that was supposed to be the headline. But then Harry and Meghan come out saying that the tabloids in the UK are being their behavior towards Meghan is unacceptable. You know, so it's like she's always had this thin skin. That should have been a red flag to her that maybe this wasn't the right direction for her to go in, but she is relentless right now.
I know she is, and I think what it betrays is a blind sense of panic on her part. You know, whatever she tries to maintain, we know that everything she's tried so far has disastrously failed. You know, as ever, previously, American Riviera Orchard never even got off the ground. As ever, total disaster. With Love, Meghan, nobody watched it. They'll put on another series in September. Even fewer people will watch it.
Oh, I don't know. Chrissy Teigen's so appealing.
Yeah, no one will watch it. And I'm not believing this talk of the commissioning of a third series.
But here is the theory. The theory is that if Netflix can hold on to Meghan, they get the exclusive when Harry and Meghan separate.
Yeah, I get that. And you and I discussed that before. And it's a very powerful argument. You want to be in there. You want to get the Meghan story. Now, if she wants to film a successful TV series, I mean, she has no clue how to do that. But I could tell her, you could tell her, make a series about, you know, why I hate the royal family, why I'm leaving Harry. You know, that will go through the roof. So yes, Netflix might want to hang on in there for that, but will they waste hundreds of millions of dollars on that? No, they won't.
Well, that's why the talk is that they're going to change the contract. It's not going to be just that blank check like it was the first time.
It won't be a contract.
It would be based on work actually
first
done.
Refusal. It'll be a first refusal deal. So it won't per se pay her money.
What happened to Meet Me at the Lake? Doesn't it keep you up at night?
Yeah, that's right. What did happen to Meet Me at the Lake? Yeah.
Like, remember she...
So they should now call it Meet Me at the Lake. Oh, all right, don't then. So she buys the rights to this book about, you know, a middle-aged couple who rekindle their romance. Oh my God, I'm so excited already. And they says, oh, it's in development. It's not in development. They just bought the rights and they've done absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah.
Once again, this is, you know, I don't know if there's this word in America. I should know this, having lived there. But do you have the word flibbity-gibbet?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what she is. She's a flibbity-gibbet.
That's like the nicest thing you've ever called Meghan Markle.
Yeah, well, I could, you know, this is for a family audience. She's a flippity-gibbet. But, you know, she just hops from one thing to the next. As Tina Brown said, the former editor of Vanity Fair, close friend of Harry's mother, Diana, that she never sticks with anything. She never does anything properly. A good exercise for Meghan would be to be sat down and made to finish something.
Yeah.
Made to a project she started, finish it.
Yeah.
Just finish it.
I don't think
she never does.
I don't think she. To me, I felt like podcasting was somewhere where she could have some longevity. I just don't think she likes to ask people questions. She prefers to be the subject. So I think that's why she fails in podcasting, because she would rather be talking about herself.
It's all about her.
Yeah, she'd rather be sitting on the Drew Barrymore sofa. She'd rather be the center of attention. But with podcasting, she doesn't have to put pants on. She can just sit there on her computer, talk to people. I'll tell you, talking of that, sorry to interrupt, when she made that extra special episode of Confessions of a Female Founder, that extra episode, Beyonce's incubator,
that no one asked for and no one wanted.
Yeah.
And then you'd think, I've got a special extra episode. It's Beyonce. Everyone go,
Mom.
Well, you know, Beyonce, that is a good guess. It's worth doing an extra episode for that. Mum.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, Beyonce's mum. Why have you done that? But anyway, when she sat down with Tina Knowles, it was hilarious because Tina Knowles wasn't taking any of her crap. Yeah. And just, you know, this me, never mind about you, Tina, let's talk about me. Yeah. Let's talk about my successes. So that whole podcast was them sort of arguing about Meghan not quite being as wonderful as Meghan was pretending.
Not committing to anything. Yeah. Tina's like, what do you do then?
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, so she said, you know, there's the there's the scarcity mentality. What's that? The scarcity mentality.
Well, she was talking about money,
Yeah,
and we're witnessing that.
Yeah, and she said, where you put a little bit of produce out there so it sells out to give the scarcity mentality. And then
like a sneaker drop?
Yeah, and then Tina Knowles goes, yeah, annoying. And then they have a massive argument about who's a better friend of Tyler Perry. Because
Meghan's like, I lived in his house rent-free.
Yeah.
Basically, what do you call, we call those squatters in the United States. I was a squatter.
Yeah, we do here too. Yes, exactly. So that extra podcast was just an argument with Tina Knowles about sort of who was better, who knew Tyler Perry better, who had a better business, who had better business sense, and so on and so forth. And also revealing that Meghan's mum, Dorian, had been to a Beyonce concert just a few days before, and Meghan didn't know. And you could when Tina Knowles revealed that, oh yeah, your mother was there. Yeah, well, she didn't tell me. And then she tried to sort of be all upbeat about it, but you could tell she was furious.
She was like, my mom using my connections again.
Yeah, she's what she is in the end. You see so much of it in Hollywood. These two-bit little C-listers who I think they're often persuaded by their overpaid, useless publicists that control is the thing. You must control the narrative. You must control everything. And
it's impossible to do
that. That is the sort of lifeblood of Meghan's life. She tries to control everything she does, everything around her, everybody around her, all events around her, and that way madness lies, because you can't control it. So then she explodes into one of her little rages, and we get another set of pictures released all across
Disneyland. I think Angelina Jolie's done a good job of doing that. We just saw a really nasty divorce between her and Brad Pitt. And I wonder if it's because she does just truly disappear for long periods at a time. We see her when she has something of substance to promote, something of value, something she's proud of. But with Meghan Markle, it's just shamelessness. Here's me twerking for no apparent reason. Also, here's the children that you better stay away from at Disneyland, but we're going to put them out just a little bit to help me sell my brand.
I love those two, they came in quick succession. The twerking video from 4 years ago, when she was pregnant with Lilibet. Why she re-released that, I don't know. Just to be noticed, so she knew it would hit the spot in terms of getting talked about, making headlines. But
it's not every day you see a Duchess's butthole, basically, on the internet.
You pointed out to me, though, that Meghan's assessment of the reaction to that is, those stuck-up snobs in Britain didn't like it. They thought it was trailer trash. But in America, all the Americans thought it was great fun and upbeat and wonderful. But that's not true. No. Americans thought exactly the same about it as British people. And, I know this, having lived in both countries, that all this...
Humble brag.
Yeah, this nonsense about, Americans are so different to Britain. Well, there are differences. But essentially, basically,
You're better.
You're better. No, that's not true. America, so America reacted, because Americans are basically decent people with good values. So are British people. They looked at that video, that twerking video, and basically said, "What the hell? This is tacky, vulgar trailer trash."
Unnecessary.
Yeah. So Americans, that her contention that Americans said, this is great. No, they didn't. That's just a lie.
I did get into an argument yesterday with somebody that said trailer trash was racist. And I was like, trailer trash is not racist. It's Joe Exotic. It's the Tiger King. It's Honey Boo Boo. There is nothing racist about the term trailer trash. It's like white trash. It is an American term, and it means like a white person with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth in Daisy Dukes that didn't start out as short as they are.
White people who never got the memo that smoking's bad for you. exactly right.
So it's not, there's nothing racist about that. It's just trashy was the term, you know, it's trashy. So
Yeah, I mean, and so there is something low rent about Meghan, you know, and that I suppose
that's
that's
a
why
nice
a lot
way
of
to
British
say it.
people do sort of go, oh my God, you know. But her idea that Americans love her and Brits don't, that's not true, is it?
Well, and they also said in the article, it's the Daily Mail article, Charlotte Griffins, I think, wrote it, referencing that young people loved it. What young person is looking at that going, hashtag goals? I'm going to go twerk in the delivery room with this white boy with weak knees. I didn't see.
And not much hair.
I don't think there's anything appealing about it whatsoever. And I do think the ultimate goal had to have been social media attention.
Oh, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I think it backfired. And I also think that's why we got Disneyland immediately. Because when have we seen a birthday celebration before, except for in the docuseries on Netflix, which they were paid for, they had to cash in. But to me, that was a real... look over here, stop talking about how gross that video was. Yeah. I honestly was so shocked. I thought she was going to take it down and claim that somebody had hacked her cloud. I was just waiting for that I've been hacked.
When it was shown to me, was it only last week?
When I sent it to you, had you seen it yet?
Which one? The
twerking.
Of course, I've seen the twerking video. But
well, no,
I think you sent it. I think it was you sent it to me first.
Yes. And I said, I said bad words.
I said that's not her.
I said bad words when I sent it to you.
You did, yeah. So quite accurately as well. But I said that's not her. That can't be her.
I know. That's how I felt too. I was like, is this really good AI? She's got all of Diana's jewelry on. I was like, gosh, the details.
It's just bizarre. But I think you've nailed it when you just said, look. I mean, it is true that she's chasing money. She's playing the fame game. The fame game is get yourself talked about, make headlines as much as possible, and from that, something will crop up. People will see your name, will give you a job, sort of thing. I'm twerking, I'm ready to be working, kind of thing. That's basically what she's saying. But you're right. Above and beyond that, the main reason she does this is she's just a California girl and she wants to be Hollywood famous.
Well, you understood why she didn't book that Shakira music video when you saw those moves. Does it surprise you at all that when it comes to her social media activity, does it surprise you at all that America thinks that she's cheapened her brand to the point where, do you remember when there were rumors that Dior was going to have her as the face of their campaign? Honestly, I know this is not a popular opinion, but the second they stepped down as working members of the British royal family, I think she could have been. But now, after watching that video, I don't think that that's an option for her anymore.
Well, Ted Sarandos, the chief executive of Netflix, is fond of saying that, you know, her potential as an influencer is bound.
Cultural impact.
Is massive. Well, you know, just like he was wrong to put Polo on, and just like he was wrong to put With Love Meghan, Ted's wrong about that. I mean, he's obviously a very smart man, don't get me wrong, but he is wrong that she has massive potential as an influencer. Good influencers have to essentially be liked across the board. No, nobody is universally adored, but you know what I mean. The good influencers are people who pretty much everyone likes. There's no reason to dislike them. The trouble with Meghan is the majority of people.
The trouble with Meghan is a whole other episode.
The trouble with Meghan is that stand by for 6 hours. No, the trouble with Meghan is that the majority, I would say, 80% of people just can't stand her, really despise her. And then you've got this weird Sussex squad mob, about 10% of these fanatics who think the sun shines out of her backside. And then you've got 10% of people who couldn't really care less. So that is bad demographics for an influencer. In fact, you know, people who want to hire influencers, even if they hear, oh, there's quite a few people don't like her. That's it. They don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want them. They want people about whom
Not
no
problematic.
one says a bad word.
Also, they want nice people, and she doesn't have a reputation for being very nice.
Well, the people about whom no one says a nasty word tend to be nice people.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, and that may be at the bottom of it all. Meghan, I think you could say this without fear of contradiction. She's just not a very nice person.
Well, we'll move into the hospitality. That's a nice segue.
Yeah.
Meghan Hotels. What is your...
Meghan's Inn.
Oh, I mean, we saw it in that twerking video. We saw Meghan's Inn, and I won out immediately.
It's just unbelievable, the hotels. I mean, what is she talking about?
Yeah, well,
does she know how much money it costs to set up a hotel?
She says something about hospitality in the Fast Company interview. So this has obviously been something that's on her mind. But you're right, it takes a lot of resources to execute something like that. You have to stay on top of it. This is a woman that turns her Instagram comments off. What is she going to do when the Yelp reviews come rolling in for her hotel? She's not going to be able to control that narrative. She's not going to be able to control that brand as closely as she's trying to control her own. What do you think when you hear of another wild direction that she's heading in?
I think, you heard it here first. Maybe not first, but Meghan's hotels, the Meghan's Inns, or whatever they're going to be called, they will never, ever happen. It's just word salad.
Yeah.
It's stuff for her to say. Aren't I dynamic? Look at the plans I've got. Think about it. All we've ever heard from this woman is my plans.
Yeah.
My plans. The actuality of her plans when they come
I would hate
about.
to see that woman's to-do list.
Yeah. Well, she has a massive to-do list.
Yeah.
But her done list is pretty damn short. So I don't think the hotels will ever happen. If they do, she will not only not have much money, which is her circumstance now, she'll go bankrupt. Yeah, she'll get into big trouble if she goes into hotels. That is just way above her pay grade, way above her talent, way above her ability. It would be an act of, complete financial suicide and madness to do it. So she probably will. No, I don't think they will ever happen, because down the line someone will say, Meghan, do you realize how much money you've got to put down for this to happen? And then, and then think about it. How many hotel chains are based on celebrities?
Yeah.
You know,
Not a lot. I mean, I might
are there
stay.
any?
I might stay at a hotel in Vegas if there's an Elvis there.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe.
but okay. So Elvis, you can have some brand names, hard rock and all that. You can take a brand name and turn it into a hotel chain if you want. But think about it. Who's ever heard of a celebrity hotel?
It sounds like a pyramid scheme. It sounds like
it's just nonsense. It's just one more stupid thing for her to say. Now we're also hearing about Chateau Meg, the rosé wine. Now, she probably will get that together. Here's what the world doesn't need, Kinsey, is yet another celebrity rosé wine range.
But she does it.
She copies and steals every single idea she's ever had.
She did like to get crunk on with Love Meghan, though. We did see her with a few bevies in her hand throughout the process
she likes
of that.
to drink a lot.
What about the Puck article I sent you earlier today about the idea that Meghan was furious that other people were making so much money off of her? Did you not go ding, 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 ding? That is so true. Like, don't you know that is truly how she felt? Annoyed that people were making money off of her, and she thought, now I'm going to monetize in every possible way because of this.
The most pathetic reaction of the two-bit celebrity is somebody got a story on me, or somebody took a picture of me, and they sold it to the papers, and they made money, and then the newspaper made money. Why didn't I make any money out of that?
And I will tell you,
because that's the way of the world. That's why
she is making money on Meta. She is getting paid for her Instagram pictures, which is why another reason why I've heard that she is getting paid from. It's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. But she is paid per impression on her posts. And she has a lot of impressions because her posts are embedded in these news articles all over the world. And so I do think that that is a way for them to take money away from paparazzi. But I also think you're encouraging people to hide in the bushes and actually get a picture of your kid's face.
It's pathetic. It's the way of the world. You
Yeah.
know, if you're a sort of two-bit celebrity or even a big celebrity, and you can't sort of constitutionally take the fact that people make money out of your picture, make money out of stories about you, you're in the wrong business. Get out of showbiz if you find that infuriating, because it's the way of the world. And by the way, every time somebody does a story on you or takes your picture and it gets published, down the line, that does make you money. It keeps you in the limelight. You know what, Meghan, you don't always have to do it yourself. You can let other people do it. But you're right. When she started thinking, you know, that I've come across people like minor stars like her before, who just are enraged by the fact that a picture of them or a story about them makes other people money. Well, get used to it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that she just steals people's ideas, not to backtrack, but regarding the hotel idea, there are reports that she was pitching herself as a brand's spokesperson and saw this deck and basically took the deck, rebranded it as the Meghan Hotel, and that because they turned her down for this to be their spokesperson. Would that surprise you if that turns out to be true?
Yeah. So I've heard the story that she was offered to be the face of.
Well, she wasn't offered. That's why she. That's why she hijacked the idea.
She was interested in becoming the face, and they said no, not interested, for the reasons that I just explained to you.
Not very nice.
Nobody wants Meghan to be the face of their product because she's mostly unpopular. But after that refusal, again, this is another thing that she can't take. It's clearly it's refusal, that, you know, failure. If she fails at something somewhere or other, she's got to prove that it wasn't a failure.
Yes, and she tells us all about it on her podcast.
Yeah, and apparently when she was in Britain, she was so obsessed with this other people making money out of her that she thought the royal family were kind of making money out of their association with this two-bit American who just turned up.
Sorry, but the 15-cent postcards in the Windsor gift shop aren't pocketing King Charles a lot of money.
Yeah,
so
yeah, but also, you know, this is the British royal family. It goes back, you know, thousands of years.
They don't need you.
Some American turns up who used to be in a cable show in Canada. You know, she thinks she's the one that's making all the money for the royal family. I don't think so, Meghan. You know.
Well, that's because that is why her and Prince Harry, I feel like they rile each other up so bad.
I've got to tell you a story. You'll love this.
Okay.
You'll love this. About Harry. Right, so last night, just before you came, well, no, it was after you came on. By the way, I got so many nice texts about you. Like saying Kinsey, wow, and all this kind of stuff. Seriously. I thought I'll have to get her on again. Oh, I always do anyway, don't I? But anyway, so this guy rings in, London, a bloke, and he said, I used to work at a go-kart track, right, in London. I remember this go-kart track in London. And I remember when Diana, when they were little kids, took Harry and William to this go-kart track so they could play go-karts. So this bloke goes, they turned up, and William, very nice kid. Harry seemed all right at first. Diana, lovely lady. And anyway, they got in the go-karts, they went round. William just like absolutely aced him, you know, beaten by about 50 yards or something. Anyway, so he said after that, Diana's trying to leave, William wants to leave. They weren't allowed to leave. Harry, little kid, stamping his feet. Got to go round again. So they go round again. William beats him again. Got to go round again. And in the end, after about 5 times, he's got to beat William, right? So after about 5 times, this bloke said, I saw Diana whispering in William's ear. Anyway, they went round for about a sixth time. This time, Harry won.
Oh,
and then they were
my
able to leave. So in
gosh.
other words, Diana had obviously, for Christ's sake,
Let your brother
let
win.
that little sod win. And at that point, they were able. So you know, spoilt brat then, spoilt brat now. See what I mean?
I
Don't you
do.
think that's an illustrative story?
Yeah, I do. And you see...
And also the rivalry between...
Yes, you still see... I was going to say, you still see that competition today.
Yeah.
I just don't think that William's involved. I think William is, like, not worried about these two whatsoever. He's busy trying to prepare for his reign and worry about his own family. But I see so much competition, and we don't have to really get into it because there's not much to talk about. But even in Meghan accepting an award on the same night as Trooping the Color.
That's so disgusting.
It's just so...
I mean, it's pathetic.
This time last year, you and I sat in your studio and you joked, what is Meghan going to do to distract from Kate returning to Trooping of the Color? And Meghan announces dog biscuits.
That's right.
And thanks to Nacho, Meghan announced American Riviera Orchard dog
Whatever
biscuits.
happened to the dog biscuits?
I think maybe that's what that's maybe what she's teasing coming to As Ever. But yeah.
That's it. That's disgusting. And to go back to my go-kart story, so I think Harry is consumed by bitterness because he's the spare.
Yeah.
Because by lineage, he is doomed to be down the ladder, you know, not as high up the pecking order as William. But there's something beyond that. It's that William is good at stuff.
Yeah.
William has always been better at things than Harry.
And that's why he deserves to be king.
Yeah, William is a clever guy. You know, William effortlessly went to one of our, I know members of the royal family get into university quite easily. Prince Charles, as he was then, is regarded to be the least qualified student ever to get into Cambridge University. But William went to St Andrews, where he met Kate, funnily enough. And he's a very clever guy. You know, he's a intellectually clever guy, and he's talented at stuff. Harry, not so much.
Yeah.
Not bright. Really, really thick.
Yeah.
Really dumb, and not very good at things. So it's not just the royal lineage that makes him so jealous and bitter about his position in life.
Yeah.
It's looking at his brother, his hated
and
brother,
his
going,
accomplishments.
why is this guy so much better at everything
and
than
better
me?
looking?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not sorry. All right, agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And watch me on The Political Asylum with Kevin O'Sullivan twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. Thanks, everyone.